right, hi everybody, and welcome to this rehab case study. This case study is for Josie. I am going to start it in about June of 2021, and it follows her progress until January of this year, 2023. So, this is just a little intro and background on Josie. She was born in 2015. She's a quarter horse Arabian cross. My friend bred her, and she's lived on the same farm her whole life. So that kind of gave me a unique opportunity to do this case study because I've known this horse for her whole life. She was lightly started in 2018 as a 3-year-old. A lot of trail riding, a little bit of endurance, some hunter paces here and there, and some ring work. So it was pretty varied early on. She's never had history of a severe acute injury, so this case study will be a little bit different in that regard, but we'll get to that in a second. She did wear shoes on her front feet from the time she was started to when we pulled her shoes in 2021, and we'll also talk a little bit more about that later. As far as diet goes, pretty consistently, she's never eaten a lot of concentrates. It's always been high in forage, and for the last few years, it's been exclusively forage based. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into feet. She does live in a pasture, 24/7 turnout with a herd. So that's kind of her current living situation. Here are just some fun pictures. She went to Sport Horse Nationals and did some halter classes in 2017. She did almost grow into those pasterns, but not quite. And I did a lot of early groundwork with her before she was started under saddle. So there's us quite a few years ago. And then this picture is of her owner riding. This would have been one of her first rides. So just a little background on her. And then we'll talk a little bit about what this case study is going to be about and what you can expect from it. Like I mentioned before, this rehab was not the results of an acute injury, but rather a steady decline in performance and general attitude. Although a lot of the things that we're going to talk about and a lot of the things that I learned could certainly be applied to rehab from injury as well. So you're going to see photo and lots of video documentation of what I mean when I say this decline in performance and behavior. You'll get an inside look into what I learned and the questions that I started asking as a result of what was happening and kind of my thought process through the whole thing. Josie definitely taught me most, if not all, of what I know now. So this was really an important case for me, and I thought because I documented it so well, it would be a great opportunity to share it with other people. Spoiler alert, this is also a hoof rehab case, so we're going to look at documentation of all that as well. I'm going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly because I think it's important. I don't want to just show you one picture from 2 years ago and then a picture from today and call it good. So I'm going to show you even things that we're still struggling with at the end. So I don't think that it's helpful to just show you the pretty pictures. And also because it'll never really be finished. So it was even hard for me to cut this off in January of this year because there are developments happening every day that I want to include, but we had to cut it off sometimes. So we'll talk about that at the end too. But yeah, rehab is never, in my mind, rehab is never finished. It's always just striving to be better off than we were before. So I've organized everything loosely around a timeline. I kind of started looking for answers in the fall of 2021, and we'll talk about why I started the case study officially in June. But the real detective work started in fall of 2021 into the present. And like I said, there are still things happening every day, and we'll kind of go into that in the last episode. but that's generally what we're going to get into.